fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirishok here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we briefly went over the heroes versus villains exam, along with, actually the plot. Class 1A had to try and get Midoriya and Katie together. Now, Katie did take Midoriya to Recovery Girl, and it did take Midoriya some time to get back onto his feet, as we do have early in the morning the next day, with Midoriya and Katie both sitting on the bus, as they are both heading out. Now, with that being said, everyone's on the bus. Midoriya and Katie are talking. Katie asking Midoriya if he's alright, especially after what happened the other day. Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just, my head's still pounding a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Something's strange is happening. Define strange for you. Stranger than usual? I don't know. Yesterday I just felt like my body freaked out. Freaked out? What do you mean? Well, all of a sudden, it felt like there was alarms going off in my head. And, I don't know. It's just, you were suddenly not there. And I feel like my instincts were just saying that something bad had happened. I'm not too sure. It just seems strange. It's very weird. Now, somebody does butt into the conversation, going on to state that Midoriya, he actually does seem to have very strange quirks. This being what Jiro does say. Oh yeah. Oh, I did also want to ask a question. How did you know you were going to be ambushed? Ambushed? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, I've been wondering that myself. This being where Asui actually does also interject, saying that she also did have a question about something. Midoriya's strange quirk, or his enhancement ability. Funny enough, it reminds her of All Might. Now, with that, somebody, let's say Denki in the bus, jokes that that's what All Might's actual quirk is, and that Midoriya is All Might's son, let's say, throwing out that strange and stupid joke. As we do have Todoroki, who is sitting there in silence, suffering. Anyways, now, Midoriya, he's just sitting there, and he's trying to explain this all, telling everyone that he can explain a lot, but that last part he can't really explain. He doesn't know. He thought he heard something, and that's whenever he turned around, and he was surprised to see Katie, and then he was surprised when Rabakugo was behind him. But as for his enhancement ability or his power-up strength ability, that's kind of easy. He had a near-death experience once, and that awakened his quirk. Ever since then, he's been trying to train it and get better. And then there is Black Whip, him manifesting it out of his hand, going on to state that he manifested this quirk whenever he saved Ochako from the zero-pointer. Everyone looking in her direction as she does confirm that it is true. And she thought that was actually a quirk he already knew he had. That's pretty weird. You're telling me. I didn't know you could manifest another quirk. I don't think you can. I think it's a rare instance. Really? Huh. Well, that's not making me feel much better. What are you talking about? Katie cutting Midori off, saying that he has a strange little theory as to why, her rolling her eyes and saying both of his quirks manifested. Talking about how he almost died. Midori is saying that it's a serious theory. Aizawa loudly interjecting that they're here. Now, everyone does walk out of the bus, and they do go to head into the building. This being where Midoriya, as soon as he does actually walk past the threshold, he has this sense of danger. And he feels off. And he just looks very tense. His calm demeanor going into somewhat of a nervous one. Midoriya constantly just looking around. Hey, Izuku, are you alright? Oh, nothing, I don't know. Are you okay? Yeah? Why? Her actually bring her right hand out and grabbing Midoriya's left hand. Pulling it up and saying that Black Whip is freaking out on his arm. Oh, sorry. Are you sure you're alright? Yeah, it's just... Crap. Why'd you have to grab my hand now? Shit. This would be the perfect moment to do it anyways. Or, no, I should probably wait after class. Shit. Would it be awkward asking her out on a date here? Especially if we're friends? I don't think it would be. Meanwhile, we do have inside Katie's own head. Crap. Why did you grab his hand, you idiot? He probably is getting at the wrong idea. Just let it go. His hands are softer than I thought they would be. Katie, just let them go. Her letting go of Midoriya's hand. Both of them stepping forward to join the rest of the class. However, this is when Midoriya just suddenly drops onto his knees. And everyone watches as he just grabs the side of his head, screaming out in pain. As he just begins to turn on One for All. Now, with that being said, the League of Villains disappear. And everyone does take their attention away from Midoriya screaming to look in this direction. Now, with that being said, Midoriya just screams that he hears it again. The alarm, the alarm. Does anyone else not hear that? And everyone just staring at Midoriya. Why is he going crazy? Now, after a second, Midoriya, he does have this alarm feeling or this, well, siren in his head turn off. As he gets back onto his feet and tries to move forwards. Now, Aizawa would go in talking about how they need to stick with 13. Shit. Where's All Might? I don't know. Mr. 13, or whoever you are underneath that suit. Where's All Might? He's running late today. All of you stick together, and I assure you that we will all make it through this. Damn it. Alright then. Midoriya powering up. As we do have Katie who does actually stand next to him. Talking about how they always find themselves in dangerous situations. You got that right. Anyways. Now, we actually do have Bakugo, who steps up on Midoriya's right. Midoriya actually giving him a side eye. Don't get the wrong idea, Deku. What are you talking about? We're supposed to be heroes, and there's villains right in front of us. So, him actually popping his knuckles, talking about how he's gonna take down more than Midoriya can. 13 advising them all to stick together, as a portal would open up directly in front of him, or directly in front of them. and the incident with 13 would occur. This shocking everybody. Midoriya turning on One for All, and them all trying to create a plan. Now, with that, Midoriya actually would run over to Ida, picking him up with one hand by his armor, and trying to run over to the door. Now, the moment that Midoriya is able to actually let go of him, he does go to throw his hands directly into the stone, and try and pull the thing open. Ida smashing into the ground and getting back up, angry and confused. "What the hell are you doing, Midoriya?" "Listen, you idiot," Midoriya says, trying to force the door open, as he's actually able to rip it open with 60%, and try and hold it open. Midoriya telling Ida to simply just run through. These doors are heavy. Now, we actually do have Kirishima and, let's say, the sugar guy. Or no, he would have actually been useful here, surprisingly. Let's say Kirishima and somebody else strong. They come over and try and help Midoriya hold open the doors. Midoriya having an idea for Black Whip. The cork coming out of his forearm and actually going in between the walls, as it just begins to try and fill up space there as a solid object. Now, with that being said, Ida does get through, and he quickly does run off. The League of Villains getting angry by this, and Shigaraki scratching his neck more as he screams out that, "Good, bring All Might to them. He'll just kill All Might himself." This pissing Midoriya off, as he turns and begins to start running in. Now, people try and warn Midoriya about going off on his own. However, they do watch what Midoriya does do, as he just begins to blitz through villains, running in and smashing into them. Midoriya throwing blows into their stomach, as he also is able to smack away handfuls of them. Everyone watching in awe, especially whenever Midoriya actually does do one thing. He uses Black Whip and is able to slash it in one direction, knocking away rows upon rows of villains. And Shigaraki, he does get annoyed by Midoriya dismantling the League of Villains. Especially whenever this boy, he does have somewhat of a All Might-like feel to him. You. I don't like you. And your quirks. Did Master give them to you? Master? Who the hell are you? So you don't know. Interesting. I guess I'll just have to kill you then. Him ordering Kirigiri to summon the Nomu, as the beast would appear. Now, this would be whenever Shigaraki orders Kirigiri to get rid of the other brats and kill this one. If all of them group together the way they are, then the League is going to have a problem with them. Now, this will be whenever Kirigiri divides and conquers, dividing Class 1A while the villains try and sweep in on the smaller numbers. Now, with that being said, we do actually have Katie, who would crash land with Momo, Jiro, and Denki. Now, whenever this does happen, she does actually help them take care of the villains, along with the plan that they actually do have. Denki still getting used as a human taser, and Jiro trying to use a baseball bat and other melee weapons. Katie being told she can have a weapon, but she just uses her bare fist. And they do actually have an easier time with the villain. Now, eventually some time would pass, and then the booms began to be heard. A loud shockwave being heard being thrown throughout the USJ, before another one can also be heard, as Midori is clashing with the Nomu, and fighting as hard as he can. Everyone was surprised to hear the first shockwave, but then there was another one. All Might's here? That's crazy. We didn't even hear him come through the door. Did Ida already return? Now, this is whenever another shockwave is heard, and something goes flying across the sky, before it does actually smash into a wall. As there is Midoriya, hanging there against the wall as he actually does begin to proceed to power up, before pulling himself out of it and leaping back in. Whenever he does, he actually does break the roof of the USJ by launching off. As Katie did see Midoriya. What the hell? No way! I could have swore that was All Might! Now, this is whenever Katie, she does actually somewhat begin to start piecing something together. But she's trying to connect all the dots. She doesn't know how, but Midoriya has something to do with All Might. Doesn't he? The overwhelming power. But All Might doesn't have quirks. Especially not Black Whip. Now, another clash can be heard. However, this time, this one felt more powerful. As Katie, Momo, and the crew do begin to try and run and see what is going on. As there is what everyone does see whenever they are able to find an opening. As there does stand Midoriya, with his left leg out to, well, pointing to the side, his right leg in front of him, and his right fist directly in the Nomu's gut. Them watching as Midoriya's hand is purple and broken, as Midoriya does actually slam another fist into the Nomu's face. Now, the Nomu absorbs the attack, Midoriya going at 80%, and he threw a 100% smash at the Nomu. The Nomu simply just began to absorb it, as Midoriya just stands there, throwing blow after blow with his knuckles. And the Nomu is just standing there absorbing it all. As Midoriya, he throws a 100% smash with his left arm. And he actually does use Black Whip in his hands, throwing his fist directly into the Nomu as he does try a tactic. Black Whip cutting the Nomu into two and slicing it. As everyone did see Midoriya do this. As soon as he did, he threw himself backwards and was able to actually get a bit of a breather. As blood begins to flow down his arms. Now, the Nomu begins to regenerate, and everyone is caught off guard. Midoriya just cut this thing's legs off, and it's grown back? Now, Midoriya just looks at this thing horrified, as the Nomu runs against the ground and immediately is able to get towards him, as it's able to shoulder check him and throw him directly into the staircase. Midoriya is smashing back into it as faster than the human eye. As he gets back up, the Nomu rushing towards him, and Midoriya just trying to rush towards it, throwing another 100% smash directly into the Nomu's face. As he just begins to start going again at 80%, throwing fist after fist after fist against the Nomu. And he's trying to wonder, what is this thing? This monster isn't human. Shit, I'm at my limit. If this thing gets me again, my mind's on fire. Now, Katie just screams out for Midoriya. And Midoriya, he actually does go and get his attention on her. The moment that he actually does throw a left hook at the Nomu, he looks directly at her. Before the Nomu, just with its left arm, brings it up and grabs Midoriya directly by, well, in between the middle finger and the finger next to it, going down by the little finger, it grabs Midoriya, and actually does just begin to try and squeeze down on him. Midoriya is screaming out in pain as Nomu just slams him against the ground, as it just begins to start slamming him over and over and over again, before throwing down its right hand over and over again into his face. As Midoriya actually does do one thing. He throws a 100% kick directly at the Nomu's arm. before trying another 100% smash with his left hand. Now, the Nomu, he's able to actually let go of Midoriya, after Bakugo did come in and directly try and blast this thing in its arm, as he was able to actually destroy the shock absorption flesh underneath. Midoriya taking that as an opening and using 80% to slash into the Nomu with Black Whip. Now, Midoriya got up as he did actually begin to start coughing up blood, and one of his eyes is swollen shut, as he's barely able to stand, before everyone just does watch. Midoriya, barely even conscious, as he just falls forwards onto one knee, and is breathing heavily. "Damn it, Deku! Get back up on your feet!" Bakugo would go on saying. Now, Midoriya does just look up, and there's the Nomu. His vision is red, and the thing's walking towards him again. Shit. Now, Midoriya blacks out, but his body does begin to start floating. Everyone taken aback by this. Katie watching, as Midoriya's power around him just begins to start flowing crazily. The energy around his body just begins to skyrocket and completely go around Midoriya's body. Midoriya looks like he's producing this, just like whenever Kaminari uses his quirk. Now, Midoriya, he's not behind the wheel. Somebody else is, as Midoriya disappears from sight. Everyone confused. Him directly underneath the Nomu, and slamming his right fist into it. The Nomu being sent flying backwards due to the force, as Midoriya just disappears, reappearing once again as he does throw another 1,000,000% smash into the Nomu's back, with the same right arm, before throwing out Black Whip, and wrapping around the Nomu, yanking it in forwards as he just does grab the Nomu at 1,000,000%, flying the Nomu upwards as he would then smash the Nomu down back towards the ground UA, as he goes flying in. Now, Midoriya smashes into the Nomu once more, ripping this thing up into the air with Black Whip as it begins to try and regenerate its injuries. As Midoriya would then fly forwards, smashing into the Nomu with his arm, and blood begins to go flying everywhere, as the Nomu gets sent flying out of the USJ just as Pro Heroes arrive. Now, with that being said, All Might is shocked at what he does see, watching this thing go flying, as he does feel One for All act up, and he doesn't know what's going on with it. Now, with that being said, there you do have Katie, who does just go running into the battlefield, as she does go to try and find Midoriya. Now, Midoriya, he is actually laying out on the ground, and he is actually underneath some rubble, as he's breathing very heavily, and his right eye is darting rapidly all around him as he's just trying to stay conscious and breathe. Now, Katie does actually find him, and she's able to actually wrap her right hand underneath Midoriya's neck and try and get him into somewhat of a sitting position. "Hey, don't worry about it. Izuku, are you okay?" "So, that's his name, isn't it?" "Huh? What are you talking about?" "Izuku. That is the successor's name." "Hmm? Successor? What are you talking about? Are you alright, Izuku?" "Crap, you probably have a concussion again. Plus, you were flying. What was that?" "Hmm. You must be his girlfriend. You seem very nice." "What? Izuku, you're not making sense. This isn't funny." Now, All Might actually does rush over, And he does step up, looking down at Izuku, saying that the boy's done a very good job here today, but he believes that he's overexerted his quirk. So, Toshi, you found a successor. All by being taken aback by this. Toshi? What? Young Midoriya, your friend is... Oh, Toshi, don't worry. I believe she already knows. But it was nice to see you again. Take care of the successor. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does pass out. All Might actually going to pick up the piece of rubble that is covering Midoriya's shoulder. Now, the moment that he actually does pick it up, Katie begins to scream. And All Might does actually look down as to what he is seeing, as he immediately turns and shouts that they need to go get Recovery Girl, and that he's going to need some help over here. Now, with all that being said, we do have later on into the night, where Katie is sitting in a hospital room, and she has tears flowing down her face, along with a very worried look on it, as we do have Katie's mother, Mary, and Inko both outside, trying to at least talk with heroes, and what they are going to be doing. Now, with all of that being said, there's also Katie's older brother. Now then, just to give him a name, because I know I did not give him one, let's give him one now. Let's see. Her older brother, which could take more after her father, let's say his name is Aaron. Now, her older brother Aaron's asking Katie if she's going to be alright. Her just saying to look at her best friend. Katie, I know. Listen. But you gotta think though, it's gonna be a lot for him to process when he wakes up. I saw it happen. Plus, he was speaking so weirdly. I think he has brain damage. Listen, from what I've been hearing happened in that building, it wouldn't surprise me. You said he flew? Yes, he did. Plus, he kept saying these strange things that didn't make sense. Plus, there was All Might. Huh? All Might? Yes! I don't know any better way to explain it without sounding fucking mental. Now, with that being said, Katie is causing quite a commotion. And we actually have Midoriya, who does wake up. Now, the moment that he actually does come to, he does actually go right back into the action. Oh shit, the Nomu. Him going to lean up. Before Katie, she actually does jump out of her seat and tell Midoriya that it's alright and to just lay back down. As the breathing machine is going, along with Midoriya's pulse getting higher, asking Katie exactly what happened. Huh? What are you talking about? Shit, I blacked out. What happened at UA? Is everyone alright? What? Yes, everyone's gonna be okay. But I'm more concerned about you right now. Huh? What are you talking about? You really don't know, do you? Katie, calm down. There's no need for the waterworks, I'm alright. Midoriya trying to bring his hand up to scratch or at least pull this mask off of his face. And there's Midoriya whenever he does actually try and do that. The moment that he does actually bring his hand up to his face, it's not his hand. It's some strange stump with bandages covering it. And Midoriya just looks at it real quick, bringing it away from his face and staring at where his right arm should be. However, it's not there. His bicep's not there, his hand isn't there, his entire forearm is gone. And Midoriya just screams. Now, the moment this does actually happen, Midoriya, or Inko, and a pro hero do run into the room, along with a doctor. Midoriya just screaming out where the hell did his arm go. As Inko, she herself does actually stand there in the hallway, right at the door, looking in and tearing up. As Midoriya, he is just freaking the hell out. Now, doctors do inform Midoriya what happened, after they're able to calm him down. Now, along with that, teachers do explain about the sacrifice Midoriya did make. As the doctor goes over Midoriya's injuries, a fractured skull, a broken nose, and dental work that needs to be repaired, along with the fact that he does have more damage, and that his ribs and his, spine, along with his sternum, they were all either cracked, fractured, or broken in his battle, along with his legs. But the most damage was to both of his arms. Now, Midoriya, who is so focused looking at his right arm being missing, goes to immediately throw up his left hand. And it is there, thankfully. However, it is completely wrapped in bandages on his bicep. The doctor explaining that the damage his arm received was extensive, and that he's just lucky that they were able to fix it. However, if Midoriya does more damage with his hand now and does not let it heal properly, they will have to take that hand as well, that arm even. The doctor informed Midoriya that his entire arm, it was gone whenever he came in. They brought it in, but they could not save it. His bones were turned into powdered dust. And the muscles, Jesus. You might as well just put them through a meat grinder with what they saw. Now, Midoriya, he is still freaking out. However, he's able to hide it a bit better. Someone just shouting that he just needs a minute alone. Now, with that, Midoriya actually does try and pull all these wires out of his arm. And he's able to, grabbing them by his teeth and pulling, as he's able to stand on his feet. The moment that he does get out of bed, he falls forwards, and his body can feel all of the electricity and fire running through it. Now, Midoriya realizes exactly how much damage he caused, as he just sits there on his knees for 1 second, as there is one person who refused to get out of the room, which was Katie. Her walking around the bed and actually dropping on her knees, watching as Midoriya is crying. And he does actually go on to state that his hero career is already over. Fuck! Damn it! Midoriya cursing at the world, as he just brings up his left arm, and he does actually go to try and throw it forwards into the wall. Katie actually grabbing his fist and stopping him, as Midoriya's hand does at least still make contact with the wall, and Katie's knuckles do hit it. Her telling Midoriya that doing that is not going to help him. Then what is going to help me? I just lost an arm, Katie. Yes, but you still have to think about it. Midoriya actually looking at her. The rage and anger he feels, it begins to go away, turning into something else. As Katie, she just looks at Midoriya with her eyes full of tears, as she just wraps her arms around him. Midoriya actually falling backwards a bit and putting his weight on the hospital bed, along with the dresser or, well, shelf they did have right there. Not shelf. Drawer they did have right there. Now, Midoriya is quite confused. Katie talking about how she's so glad she did not lose him in the battle. But he just kept talking nonsense. There's what he said to All Might, there's what he said to her. And she's just thankful that he's alive. As she does pull backwards, embarrassed. Her face red, talking about how she doesn't know what she would have done if she lost her best friend. The person that she really does. Her actually shutting herself up. And Midoriya just looking at her. She's still wearing her hero outfit. And then there's, well, the way she's acting. Katie. Her looking up as her heart to skip a beat. Listen. All of this. Today. All of the time we spent in UA. It was amazing. Katie, understanding that something is about to happen. Oh shit, the worst possible thing's about to happen. He's about to have to leave, isn't he? And she does try and hide her freak out. Yeah, it's been an amazing time, but what's up? Listen. I've really got things put in perspective. And, well, I don't know. I'm just gonna try and come out and say this. As Midoriya actually does go to grab Katie, pulling her in close as he actually does give her a kiss. Katie quite alarmed, as she does just lean in and begin to kiss Midoriya more. Now, with that being said, somebody does walk into the door, after knocking of course, and it is a small man with yellow hair, as he does actually just look at these two for a second, which turns into a minute, which then turns into 2, which then turns into 3, before he does actually just finally clear his throat. Both these two looking at the man, Midoriya realizing that it's All Might, and Katie confused. Jumping away from Midoriya and slamming into the wall, talking about how they weren't doing anything. I see. Young man, I would like to talk with you for 1 second. Now, with all that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. I will catch you guys in the next part.